Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea news. The matter between Enzo Maresca and Chelsea hierarchies only intensifying. Journalists are now coming through with a whole heap of stuff, which is only adding more fuel to the fire. Look, the bottom line is the vibe that I'm getting from this whole situation, it all comes down to one thing. Enzo Maresca, ladies and gentlemen, is fed up. Is fed up of explaining his decisions, explaining his footballing, decisions that he's taking in regards to Chelsea's squad, the rotational policy, who starts, who doesn't, in-game management. He's fed up. He doesn't want to explain anything. My point of view in all of this, and we're going to go through a whole heap of news very, very soon, is that, my man, there's going to be times where your employer has the right to ask you questions if the points are being dropped left, right, and center. If some of the results are going south, don't expect the owners to just sit on their seat with their hands crossed and just allow for things to happen. There's been distinct issues. There's been clear issues this season which Maresca has been culpable of. I've said it repeatedly, and I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to make it very clear. The owners and the directors are culpable. They are. They're not going to get away with it. They've been culpable for the past 3 seasons. Ever since the owners have taken over, they've been culpable. There's no doubts about that, right? But at the same time, some of the points we've dropped this season is not because of the SDs or the owners. It is also because of Enzo Maresca doing some madness. We as a fan base have said this, right? So we can't just sit here and just, allow for Enzo Maresca to show this type of ego. You don't warrant it. You really don't. You've gone from Leicester to Chelsea. You've done well. But you're also developing. People will definitely question you. You're not Pep Guardiola. You're not Jurgen Klopp that, I don't warrant anyone asking or anyone questioning my authority. No, I'm sorry. People will. And you've made questionable decisions, right? So I think all parties are culpable here, not just the owners or the sporting directors, but also Enzo Maresca and the players. Everyone's culpable. Everyone is culpable. And for all the people that want to keep talking about sporting directors, you have to understand, sporting directors are only doing what the owners have asked them to do. They're not doing anything, outside of the remit. So if you're really upset, ultimately you need to be upset with the owners. The bottom line is, here's the bottom line. If you don't like the way owners are moving with their philosophy, then you need to protest. That's as simple as that. Because they're not going to change their ways. This is the way they believe will bring success, and they're not changing. So if you disagree from the get-go, you need to protest. And I've said this all along for the past 3 seasons. I've been against the owners. And I've said this season, I felt that, do you know what? The squad is somewhat there to at least compete, and Enzo Maresca can get a little bit more. So this season, I don't want to just talk about owners and sporting directors again and again and again and again. However, if you want to do that, then you need to protest. It's as simple as that. Number 2, Enzo Maresca knew very well. So all of a sudden, Enzo Maresca acting like, he's been lied to and this is not what he signed up for. He knew very well what he was getting into. Let's not beat around the bush anymore. Enzo Maresca knew very well what job he was taking and what was the remit and what was expected. Now, he might have a change of heart all of a sudden. He signed a new contract with a new agency, George Mendes, and he might be eyeing other jobs. He might feel, do you know what? I'm capable of doing more. No problems, but that's him having a change of heart now. Let's not sit here and pretend, we've done dirty with Enzo Maresca. He knew what he was getting into. He knew very well what he was getting into. And for him to all of a sudden now think that, the owners are going to change all their ways just for you, no, they won't do that. They've got a vision and a perspective, and they're going to follow that. As I said, if you've got a problem with that, then you need to protest. Right? So we're not going to pretend. We're not going to pretend, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, we're not going to pretend. Now, let's go through some of the news and let's see what's going on. Sources believe Enzo Maresca has become fed up of having to explain himself internally at Chelsea and is doubting whether those in control really trust him. And this is a very, very significant point. Maresca is getting fed up. As I said, there's been instances this season where some of the points we've dropped is not because of the lack of, quality in the squad or the inadequate squad that we've built up. It's because of the owner. It's not. We've made some poor decisions. We could have rotated with players that are a little bit more capable, and we chose not to do that. So once again, I reiterate, Enzo Maresca, please don't think that you're above criticism, that no one can question your authority, no one can question you. No, you're still developing, and the owners have every right to question. You think in any job, for any of us, at our workplace, if we start doing things our way and it's going south, the owners are just going to sit there and just watch it sort of crumble. No. So many of us believed that from the start of this season that this could be an important season. Not saying we go and win the Premier League, but it could be an important season. Me personally, I don't think there was any need for Enzo Maresca to voice his opinion publicly. I think he could have handled all of this professionally in the background. For him to publicly say all this, he's trying to achieve something. He is trying to achieve something. Now, I don't know what that is, whether he's trying to manufacture a way out of Chelsea, whether he's trying to, call out suitors out there that come and get me. I don't know. Because publicly calling out the owners, what are you trying to do? You're trying to paint a picture that this club, the working environment is too difficult. Because not that long ago, you were finding success with Club World Cup, with Conference League, with finishing in the Champions League position, bringing players like João Pedro, Andre Santos, Estevão Willian. Don't want to sit here and pretend that, it's been all bad over the last 7-8 months. If anything, it probably started to look a little bit better. One source said, if Enzo Maresca wants a war, then there will only be one winner. It's not him. And it's not him. If he's looking for an easy way out, then he needs to be very careful. If he wants to stay past this season, then he has a funny way of showing it. 100%. 100%. This way, you're only going to get yourself sacked. And maybe that's what he wants. Maybe that's what Enzo Maresca wants. A lot of people are like, which manager will like to work in this environment? What? Look, not a single football club out there that just allows for the manager to do whatever. There's always hierarchies that are going to question and ask for explanation why you made certain decisions. Unless you're a top manager that has been around the blocks for a long time. Besides that, you're always going to be asked what's going on. Especially when some of the decisions have been baffling for the fan base. This is what I keep saying. Us fans, we need to be true to ourselves. We've questioned Enzo Maresca too. Let's not sit here and pretend that, where's this coming from? No, us as a fan base, we've seen certain decisions that are not adequate. So you're going to have to believe that the owners will feel the same way. So if you really enjoy being at Chelsea Football Club, then you wouldn't have come out publicly and said that. Even though you're hurt, but you wouldn't publicly come out and say that. Try and rectify it in the background. But it looks like for me more and more that maybe he's looking to part ways. Every manager that wants to come to Chelsea Football Club should know the remit. And as I said, if you don't like the philosophy and what the owners want to do, then you need to protest. You do need to protest. Me, on the other hand, I'm looking at the squad. And I think it's capable of more. It is capable of more. So I'm not in a position where I can say, oh, let's go out there and protest now and get these own. First of all, I don't have that much power. Second of all, I don't, at this point, I've believed it for the first 3 seasons that, yeah, they've made some bad mistakes. I've said this. But right now, I feel like it's not all on them. A squad is there to do something. And it's clear we can compete against some of the best teams out there. It's clear to see. It's quite a bit of experience. People talk about we don't have experience. There is quite a bit of experience. Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Cucurella, just to list a few. There is enough experience. João Pedro is also an experienced player in the Premier League. He's played quite a few seasons. Pedro Neto as well, experienced players. So I'm not going to sit here and just, talk about experience. Maresca is believed to have wanted more protection from figures within Chelsea against criticism of his team selection and rotation during their recent 4-game winless run. He is encouraged to heavily rotate to help develop young players. Maresca feels he has outperformed other managers who have faced a rebuilding job when joining a major Premier League force, such as Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, Jurgen Klopp previously at Liverpool, and even Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. Amorim has received strong public backing despite his struggles. I don't understand where Enzo Maresca has been thrown under the bus. None of the owners or sporting directors, or I've heard anything from the journalists in recent times that, the owners have thrown Enzo Maresca under the bus. They've also shown backing. They've said he's done a really good job. He's won the Club World Cup. He won the Conference League. He finished a Champions League position. They're very happy with him. They will assess him at the end of this season. And they've also come out publicly, whereas us fans, we want to compete in the Premier League. They've come out publicly and said, just get Champions League football again. Solidify that. They've not really put any, unrealistic targets on Enzo Maresca. No. So I'm not sure why there is conversations that, owners, sporting directors, publicly haven't shown support. I think they have. Now, in regards to the transfer market, yes, owners definitely should have done more. But it's not like they didn't do anything at all. In the Club World Cup, they brought in João Pedro. They brought in Gittins. Even though I didn't want Gittins, but this is where Enzo Maresca needs to step in and say, no, don't do that. It's not like he didn't like Gittins. He's talked very highly about Gittins. He's talked very highly about João Pedro. So I'm not going to sit here all of a sudden and just going to pretend that, no, he didn't want any of these players. People talk about, we need better players. Last season, we had the likes of João Felix, Nkunku, and many other players. And it wasn't good enough for Enzo Maresca then either. So what should we have done? What should we have done? I know Levi Colwill got injured. He wanted a defender, but it surely cannot just be based on one defender and all of a sudden you're now so upset that, you don't want to answer to anyone anymore. It cannot just be based on one defender. Levi Colwill is a very, very important part of our squad, but he's not the end-all and the be-all. Jamie Carragher, Maresca's comments that ain't uncertain. He's talking about the owner and sporting directors. This is a classic case of accepting the job terms and conditions. Then he does really well and feels he should have more power. He's calling something out. They didn't get him a centre-back. The problem is if he continues this way, there's only one winner, and that's not him. 100% right. 100% right. Carragher further goes on to say, Maresca is capable of competing at the very highest level. What he's done with that squad is fantastic because they are nowhere near them other top 3 clubs. He can come up against every manager. Now Chelsea might feel that they could go and get a better manager, but let me tell you, they could easily go and get someone worse. Look at what's happened at Spurs and Manchester United in the last couple of years. Look, I can understand what Carragher is saying, but for him to say, what he's done with that squad is fantastic because they are nowhere near other top 3 clubs. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. What are the other top 3 clubs? Liverpool, if anything, are struggling. Manchester City, yeah, they're doing well, but they're also every now and then inconsistent as well. Arsenal, we've shown that we can compete against Arsenal. And some of Arsenal's players are not really clicking either. Arsenal aren't going out there and smoking teams. This is something that I hate when the media, they're trying to portray that, oh, it's an absolutely rubbish squad. No, I have to keep on saying, I don't believe this squad is the best squad, but it's not rubbish. It's got enough to do something, enough to be competing. And it's shown that it has. It's shown that it has. We have done well against PSG, Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal. It shows that we have. We've recently beaten Everton without really showcasing all our talents. We struggled a little bit in the first half, but we still ended up winning. So you're telling me, oh, now all of a sudden we have problems against Leeds, Bournemouth, Sunderland, Brentford. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and just pretend that the squad's just foul. Jamie Carragher warns Chelsea about getting another manager and says Maresca has done a very good job with what he's been given. Look, I've said it many times, I'm not going to repeat it again. I don't want Maresca gone. I don't think anyone at the Chelsea Football Club internally wants him gone. But at the same time, where there's criticism, you're going to get criticism. Now, if you get hurt by these criticism, then and you're going to be public about it, well, you're only creating the mess. No one else has asked for this. You could communicate all of this stuff behind the scenes if you truly want to be at Chelsea Football Club and just try and see if you can come to a middle ground. But no, you want to air the dirty laundry publicly and then expect things to go okay for you. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Giroud, I think Chelsea needs some more time to fight for the title race. They're very happy to have Cole Palmer back. I think maybe they need a number 9 to win them things and score more goals. Yeah, look, I would have liked an Osimhen, but someone like Osimhen seems like financially it's not possible. And a lot of people don't even like Osimhen. Gyökeres is struggling. We just need to stay a little bit more patient. We do. Liam Delap, very unfortunate, has picked up a couple of injuries that have sidelined him for a while. I know people have given up on Liam Delap, but we need to stay patient. We can play João Pedro up front, and all of a sudden people don't like João Pedro. Sad to see. Giroud, Maresca needs a striker who is consistent and more experienced in the squad. There's a lot of young players. I don't know which striker you're going to go out there and get. You're not going to get Harry Kane. He's probably the most experienced. You're not going to get Lewandowski. He's too old. So what other striker are you talking about? Very consistent. Which one? Haaland? Gyökeres is Arsenal. Isak? He cost an arm and a leg. So who else are you going to go out there and get? Which striker is consistent? Have a look at the Premier League. Ollie Watkins? Who else? Even Ollie Watkins struggles. So, it's one thing about saying all of these things, another thing about actually being able to execute it correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. In the comment section, let me know which side of the fence are you sitting at? How are you seeing all of these things? And what do you think should happen? Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya. Bye.